Good afternoon, West of the world. It's Thursday afternoon, October the 15th, here at the conclusion of this week talking about Atlantic revolutions. We've covered a lot of ground through the American Revolution, the French Revolution, up to the time of the Congress of Vienna. And there have been a lot of names and dates and different events, and I won't try to sort of rehash all of those things for you. I think as you're thinking about this era of revolutions, you want to be asking yourself the question, well, what is new here? What are the big ideas that people are struggling over? And of course the main one we said is, or the main ideas that sort of are the wellspring for this whole revolutionary period, is that debate over citizenship versus subjecthood, the question of whether the people of the state are merely the subjects of an absolute monarch appointed by God, or whether they are citizens, active participants who in some way own or possess a role within the state. The rulers, of course, would like to see a vision of subjecthood, but the people, thanks to the Enlightenment, are increasingly demanding citizenship, that they be able to exercise their rights, especially the right of basic human liberty. So whether it was the taxation issues that led to the American Revolution, or the taxation issues that helped to sort of trigger the French Revolution in combination with a long-running history of resentment between the Third Estate and the First and Second Estate. All of these different facets revolve around this common question of how do people relate to the state. Now, in the end, of course, the French Revolution, despite its sort of far-reaching aims, produces an emperor in the person of Napoleon Bonaparte. And we talked a lot about why perhaps the revolution, didn't achieve permanently everything that it wanted, the problem of the Reign of Terror and the work of Maximilien Robespierre. But Napoleon is in some ways an ironic ending to this revolution aiming at liberty, but on the other hand, he helps sort of bring to reality some of the most important and long-lasting legacies of the revolution, including the birth of the idea of the nation and the spirit of nationalism that will become sort of the dominant unifying thread of the 19th century. We'll be talking a lot more about that in the days to come, and in a week's time we'll return to sort of reassessing the total legacy of the French Revolution, because what we're going to see is that despite the fact that in 1815 the Congress of Vienna restores a Bourbon monarch in France, the changes that the French Revolution had begun to make do not die out so easily. But next week we're going to turn our attention to the economic realm and to the transformations of industrialization. Looking forward to talking more about that with you next week. Have a good weekend, everybody.